Hello, dear listener of Agape FM. The time now is 6 minutes past 11. We are just 6 minutes behind time, but nonetheless, it's better late than never. So we are, you are listening to the Touched by Grace session by Sister Thumela. And we are not alone in the studio. We have a beautiful Linda Ntetha. And Sister Thumela will just do the favors and read her bio for us.
Yes, morning to listeners. We're here today with Sister Linda Ntetha. She was born in Kwanobuhle, Uitenhage, known as Kariega. She's the co-founder of Lochion Holdings that she runs with her husband, Mbulelo Ntetha, and she runs the operation side of the business. She's huge on voluntary work. She's been working voluntary since 2013, doing counseling at Lovelife Youth Centre in Kwanobuhle. She's passionate about self-love. She runs other projects with small NGOs around her community. Linda has been part of the modeling industry and the pageant world since she was young. She has won the following: First Princess Mrs. Port Elizabeth 2016, Mrs. Eastern Cape 2017, Semi-Finalist Mrs. South Africa 2018, and Mrs. South Africa Top 50 Finalist 2020. Wow. She's a mother of three, wife for 19 years. She's currently completing her honors degree in applied psychology through Unisa. That's amazing.
That's incredible. Woo! That's like a round of applause, man. Hi and welcome, Linda.
Hi.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to have me here.
Cool. Cool. How are you feeling so far?
I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm
great.
excited to be here. Yeah, it just, I guess, everything comes at the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
This was a perfect time.
For sure. And in this platform, we bring amazing people all the time.
Obviously.
So you are
amazing.
Cool. We'd just like to, get a glimpse of Linda, maybe when she was 20, just before.
God, do I remember when I was 20? And I always tell people, because people don't believe my age. So I never really now bothered to explain that. When I was 20, I was too quiet, too independent, too much. I started working when I was 19. I've always been loving making my own money.
Okay.
But I think sometimes you push too much and you do more than you should. But I think modeling helped me then.
Okay.
Like the grooming part of it. I think around 19, just before I went to Cape Town, because I was studying in Cape Town, I enrolled in Lux International.
Oh,
It's
yes.
it's one of the the PE modeling, I'll say schools that we had then. And I then moved to Cape Town, and I made my money through modeling.
Oh,
And but at times, when you're growing up, you call names. They used to call me, because I was too thin. I was like thin, like sick thin. And you get those boys, those guys who stand in the corner of the street, and they will call you names. And at times we get a point where you accept what they say, and you think it's normal, and that's who you are. I never knew that I could actually make money from my thinness. And after, in my 20s, then I embraced that. And I loved that I was thin. And I then believed that everything that I have, God has given me for a reason. My thinness, my smile, you make money. Well, even when you think you're ugly, you can actually make money out of the way you are, the way you are. But I think it starts by being comfortable in your own skin and accepting who you are and understanding that if God would have made you something else, He would have.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's me in my 20s.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell me, back then, is money what motivated you to start modeling? Oh, were there any other forces or contributions
I just
to you?
loved it. I loved, I think then we had the first lady, Uitenhage, who was the first Miss South Africa. You know, just the way her cheekbones, the way she was built.
Yes.
And we had this norm that for you to be beautiful, you need to be light-skinned, you need to be white. You know, that's how we express beauty, you know. And when she became Miss South Africa, and I was like, she's not that far from in how I look, you know. So, and I think as well, I've never really been bigger than size 6, size 8.
Okay.
I've always been thin, and so I maintain that. And I think also when you start modeling, because I started with pageants, and they teach you how to sit, how a female is supposed to take care of themselves. I mean, Kwanobuhle has always been a place where I think I'm assuming that the name Kwanobuhle came from the beauty pageants that or the beauty queens that we had then. So I wasn't really then motivated by money. I was just loving it because I looked at myself and I thought, I mean, when you see the models walk in the ramp, you can actually learn that, you know.
And there's something that I want to pick on. You said, being comfortable in your own skin. And you said you're very big about and passionate about self-love. I mean, those are two things that go together. I want to ask this for our listeners and viewers. Maybe there's a lady sitting out there and thinking to themselves, I don't look good. Maybe I'm a bit too chubby, or maybe I'm too skinny, and, very, negative self-image. So to what extent is the beauty pageantry all about looks versus self-image?
Okay. Firstly, what we had seen in the beauty world, we saw beauty. We never thought of brains. We never thought of fundraising. We never thought of confidence. We never thought of those things. It's always been about me dress up and walk in the ramp and smile, or just be beautiful. And I think most girls didn't want to do it because they feel like they're exposing the other side of themselves. But then when you go to modeling schools, then they teach you public speaking, they teach you confidence, they teach you how to, even the interview world, when you go for interviews, what do you do when you get there?
For sure.
So it's much more than just walking the ramp. It's much more than just beauty, the outside beauty. But then you can also tap in on your own, on that side, when you start looking in the mirror and say, I'm actually gorgeous. And when you don't need someone else to tell you that you are beautiful. And I always, because I'm a strong believer of God, and that everything that I needed to live in life for, He has already given me. If we've got a lot of, let's say, actors and actresses who are not so good looking, they actually make a damn lot of money because of their beauty and because they've known who they are, and they've realized that with the way I am, that this is the only way for me to actually make it in life. So the beauty or the pageant or even the modeling world now, only now lately, like let's say maybe in the past 10 years, it's different now. It's more of self-esteem, self-love, recognition, and also career-wise, because other kids, they've been taken to modeling school because they're shy. Abanye abazali because they're tomboy, they're kids. They like go to modeling school, and then when you get there, you realize that actually my child is not really into modeling, but then modeling will teach them some other things about themselves, and they're able to take on some other careers as well. So it's bigger than just the outside beauty.
Fantastic.
So whether you are chubby, I always say you can still actually do modeling.
Sure.
Whichever way you look outside.
True.
If you want to lose weight, you can actually lose weight because everything is here. It's in your mind.
It's so
When
true.
the Bible says, if
As
this
a
is
man
messed up,
thinks, yes.
even if
Everything
you could be
else.
educated,
Yeah.
you won't make it if
Yeah.
your mind is messed up.
Yeah, it actually says, as a man thinketh in his heart,
Yes,
so is
yeah,
he.
so is he.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what Linda you actually saying is that it doesn't matter how you look, as long as you believe in yourself, you can make it.
I always say, you get the most shortest people in modeling. Like look at Demi Lee, the lady who, the first, the second Miss Universe. Look how short she is. But in Ngubano Yazio, she's short.
No,
We know, she doesn't know that because when she walks in that, she's the
Yeah.
tallest
Yes.
of them all.
Yeah.
You know? So how you see you, it doesn't matter what the world sees you. If I see myself as I can actually go and do that, why not? Why can't you do it? Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the projects that you have been involved. Apart from inclusive of the package, pageantry. What are some of the most exciting projects and very fulfilling?
Do we have the whole day?
Yeah.
I'm actually working on something that I can't really tell all of it for now.
Okay.
But it's a modeling school in like the most sophisticated type of modeling school
Okay.
in my township, in the Uitenhage and maybe the surrounding areas.
Wow.
Thumela is so smiling. For boys and girls. But I don't want to pressure, I don't want to rush it. I want God's timing in it. I'm always in a place where I don't want to do things because I want to do things. I want to do them because He says now go do
It's
it
the time.
because I'm ready. You know. So I'm working on that, and soon you guys will know about it.
Okay.
But I know you're gonna be excited.
Yes.
It's just I'm in a space where I do me. I do exactly what God wants to be done. And I'm big on boys. I'm very big on boys. I feel boys are neglected in a way. We all about, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be girl power, empowering girl child, but I feel that we're not grooming, men, to be the type of men that we are. So I go to schools. I start them from grade 8, which I still feel that it's late, even grade 8. They should be from the younger grades. Teach them what I know about men, from what I have learned from my dad, the relationship I have with my brother.
Yeah.
And I feel that there's a lot that men can learn from females.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yes.
When a woman starts something and we're doing things, what we always dreamed of or wanting to do. I'm always willing to jump in. I always want to know, where can I help? What can I do to assist you? Where can I support you in it,
Yes.
Hence, I'm so excited when I see one of my sisters starting something. So, well done, Sister
Yes.
Linda, well done.
Yes.
We will be there to support you with
Thank you so
whatever
much.
that you need.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, John.
So for sure, well, I mean, I know when you're pursuing an endeavor, I'm sure there is quite a few challenges along the way.
Tell me about it.
One, let me just categorize them. Some of the challenges or the hindrances sometimes are mental blocks that we put in ourselves,
Yeah.
self-defeating, beliefs that we think I can never achieve that, or that's for them only, it's not for me. Let's talk about that, and also some of the external factors or impediments that were, maybe you couldn't enroll in a school because of budget or whatever. What are some of the challenges that you faced in your initial years?
Okay. Yes, we did. There was a point in my life when I was like, especially with the, with Mrs. PE and also Eastern Cape, and it even grow stronger with South Africa. I was like, what have I done? Am I sure I can actually do this?
Yeah.
You've got days when you feel like the world is just on top of you and there's just nothing going your way, without even anyone saying anything. But you just look at yourself, you're like, but I don't have this, I don't have that. Who's going to help me there? And I think that's why I decided to re-enter Mrs. South Africa. Because the first time I felt like I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I got myself into, and especially with family as well, because I'm married, and the Mrs. South Africa is obviously about married couples and married women, and so if you don't have your husband in this journey, you're going to lose it. And I think that's why most marriages, once you found yourself, they fail, because now you feel like you're liberated, and now he's still there instead of liberating the entire family with you. So now the second time I entered, I sat him down. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the support that I need, and I will not do this if you would not be part of.
Sure.
So yes, the mental, it does affect you, and at times, sometimes other people are into go do it, but then you feel like
yes.
not now.
They see it in you, but you don't see it for yourself.
Yes,
probably.
not now. And you like, but why can't that person? Why can't I see? Why can't this person see what we see? I always tell people, like, I will speak to one of the closest girls that I have who's the model Sino from Uitenhage. I always say, I wish you could see you from my eyes. Come and take yourself to my side so you can see what I'm showing you, what I'm telling you about yourself. So that is the major. But then once you break that, there's nothing in this world that could stop you. Yes, you're gonna struggle, but you always say tomorrow is gonna be better. Tomorrow is gonna be better. And the biggest challenge that we're having, we don't have sponsors in our province. That was my biggest challenge, to get a sponsor, to fly myself to Joburg, to get myself accommodation in Joburg, because I didn't know people that I could live with, And sometimes people, once you have a chat with them, they will be like, no, it's fine. But then once you get to their places, they're not like, no, it's fine. You're like, okay, can't you unje? So you learn, things about people. So that for me was the major problem. And then my husband then came in. He supported me financially, the journey. But I found that when you get to Joburg, you're like, some women, are they living this type of life? So I feel like there's a lot that still needs to be done in Eastern Cape in terms of mental, strengthening women mentally, that we can actually do these things by ourselves. Because these women, they're driving themselves. They're having businesses, not one. Kids. Yes, they've got people at home, like a maid or who helps. But they're actually making it, and themselves.
They still balance everything.
They still manage, And I feel if they have a one head and two flat feet like me, why can't I do what they're doing,
For sure.
So that was the biggest challenge. And now the second time around, I managed to get myself 2 sponsors. And I think as well, with the relationship that you have built from the Mrs. PE, all the way, because you network, you go to functions, you just everywhere where people are gathered. Then people get to know of you. You avail yourself for public speaking. Go and be a speaker somewhere. Go and you do it free, just for yourself to be out there. And that's the only way to learn. That's really the only learning school
Mm-hmm.
to get yourself out there so that people know about Linda, in this in our town. You learn these things, and then once you post it on your social media that this is what I'm going to do, people will say, okay, what do you need? They can help you there. They can help you there. Even if it's just makeup, even if it's just a shoe. Because I had a lady who sponsored me with shoes. I had a designer. Because the dresses that you dress, they're yours, not from the pageant. You have to make a plan to get a sponsor. You have to have your hair. I mean, I've got long dreadlocks. Who's going to do that? You have to have makeup, artist. There's a lot that you need. There's nails. And they're not cheap, because you have to look the part. So that was the major. And sometimes, even though you will have these things, but then the money side, because the pageants now are all about fundraising. So then I had Must Be Nice. It's a beautiful white lady who just came out of Norway, and totally God sent her to me. And she just came to say, because there was a launch in one of the salons that I was a regular, they became my sponsor. So I went there, and she was there. She was like, I'm going to sponsor you. That was also amazing. And since then, I'm their ambassador. So I'm making sure that I'm out there for them, because they stood next to me when no one else, when I couldn't find someone. So it's just a step, take one step at a time. And then as you get stronger and believing in yourself, people start to believe, and then they want to help you as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Take us back to Mrs. Port Elizabeth and Mrs. Eastern Cape. For some of our listeners, maybe they don't know that there is a Mrs. Port Elizabeth or there is a Mrs. Eastern Cape. Can you take us through that? What is it all about?
The pageants for the matured woman, it's not about really beauty, because most of us we've done life. There is no swimwear, because they were like, I'm going to walk in a swim costume with my stretch marks and my body in front of the world. There isn't such a thing. So it's all about you being really comfortable in your skin. It's really about that. And abantu bangena kuyo because of different reasons. Abanye they've been neglected at home. Abanye they've looked after everyone else, but then they don't have their own time where you're around females and you just do female stuff. Abanye they're there for their careers. Abanye they're there because really about being in an environment where I can grow my business. So there's different reasons why people entered. For me, because it was a passion to enter Miss South Africa when I was younger, and I missed that. And I got married at 24. And then when I heard that there was a Mrs., I was like, then why can't I not do it? Then I entered. And I was first princess. But it was more of, for me, it was more of the sisterhood. Because the ladies that I met, then they're still my friends. And there's still people that I can call and say, listen, I'm stuck there. And we still have coffee once in a while. And it's about the growth and how you grow as a person as well. So it's still, we still have the misses in PE. We still have, I think it was Unisa was running it. But I think now there's other people who started having the Mrs. Eastern Cape, like was it in East London? She has the Miss East London. Sorry, the Miss Eastern Cape. But I think there's another word, something that she added, because she doesn't want to feel like she's taking rights for someone else, because I think role models were the first to host the Eastern Cape. So I think Uzikon and then decided to use the Eastern Cape. but then she captioned it with something else. Yeah.
Wow. And I just wanted to ask, because I know as a businessman, I have a few mentors and I have some few people that I look up to. Like, I always check their videos. I'm like, you know what, and their podcasts, whatever, I always dig them. So for you, and as you were coming up in your journey, well, I can tell you first and foremost, like, the impression that I had of you when you just walked in here. Guess who? Princess Diana, of the Princess of Wales. That's like
Is that obvious?
It is somehow.
Yes, it is.
Who were some of your mentors, and mirrors, and why?
You'll be shocked that the people who I looked up to, they weren't really in the modeling.
Oh, okay.
No, they were not. I love very strong women, because I'm not sure if I had said before, or like when we started, I'm very independent.
Yeah.
So when I see like Abositsane Kumalo, who are in business and they've never really worked for a company, they've ran their own businesses. People like Oprah, who break all the barriers.
Sure.
Princess Diana, from where she comes from.
Yes.
Like, I was one of those people who are really devastated when she died, because I felt like we were still had to learn so much from her. I love the fact that she was all about service.
Yes.
Because I'm a server in my heart. I cannot function if I can't serve someone else. And I got to a point where I understand that serving is not about money. It's about whatever that has value to me. And to me, it's my time. So if I can take what has value to me, my time, and spend it with someone else, that is what I learned from all these other women. And also the women from my community. The people that we think that they're nobody. I had Mam Tisani, who now runs she has a guest house, who was a teacher, and how she groomed me when I was 13. And she made, I have to say this, I didn't like her then. Because I felt like she was like depriving me of life. But I'm so glad she was in my face. I'm so glad that I missed out a lot of things. I couldn't. She didn't want me to go out. I was like, but my sister. That's the attitude I had. But the fact that she was in my life and that she was telling me, no this, no to that, yes to that, and also as a mama, you think that they not, you can't learn things from. Because my mom was a domestic worker, so there's ladies that she would bring it from a stock fair, they'll come at home and then they'll sit and they will talk and they will talk business. I learned from those people, so it wouldn't be people from the pageant world, because we were not that much on TV then, because you would chase to go and play outside, so we didn't have that that time where we watched a lot of TV, or the magazines were very expensive. So it was people around me that I learned things from, and then I'll take, I was a sponge. I would take things from there and there, and then I'll be like, okay, I can edit with a little bit. I made my mistakes on the way, but then I dust myself and I, put a Vaseline and I believe that I have my invisible crown. I'm bigger than what I think the world thinks of me.
Yes,
so it all goes back to what you feed yourself. If you feed yourself unfortunately rubbish, you would.
Yes, that's what you become.
That's what you will do.
That's what you do. Wow.
I have two questions.
Okay.
You spoke about you being a giver.
Okay.
Do you think modeling and pageantry and giving goes hand in hand? Is it one of the skill or character, whatever personality that you should have in order to become one and a successful one? And also on all your pageants that you've entered, what have you learned? What have you taken out? What would you wish to change?
Currently, I will speak of sophisticated because I'm part of sophisticated models. I know with them that fundraising and being part of SPCA, you know, they go and help the animals, the dogs, and they will go and clean somewhere. They will go and, you know, and groom some girls. Like now, recently they went to Jeffreys Bay to put the crown on those girls. You know, like just to show them that it doesn't matter how you look or where you come from, you are a queen. You know, so I think just life in general, not just in modeling.
Okay.
If you don't have a heart of giving, you're gonna really struggle, because I mean you can't be receiving all the time. You have to get to a point where you give. I mean, the Bible says, "Give and it shall be given to you."
Yes.
You know, but then how much? Because God looks in your heart. If you give because you want to get, then that's where the problem is going to be. But if you give because you're giving, God obviously will give you what you think you have lost. In fact, even more. So I'm a testimony of giving. I spend what I told you, that what was valuable to me, and that goes to my voluntary life. From when I first started my degree, I went and I volunteered. What I knew was my gift to counseling, to listen, and listening ear. That I know that most people, especially youth, they want someone to just listen to them. Whichever problem they think is big, it might look small to you, but to them, but then if you really listen, you know, and that's when it started for me. And because I was giving my time, God gave me. He gave me even more than what and now people are telling me that my husband and I are selling drugs. Which is fine if that's what they think.
Wow.
But they don't know what,
They don't
you know,
know.
the things we do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And your second question about what have I learned and what would I like to change? I've learned that I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm not even going to explain. Right on its own, it just is. I'm enough. And I have decided that what I would change is this mentality that when I get to the top, that's where I'm going to stay. I want to bring everyone with me. When we all in top, we're enjoying that. It's really awesome when you see what you've planted, even if it's just one person, just one person. And the fact that someone else gave to them, like in my case, Mam Tisani gave her time, and she mentored me without us having a conversation that I need a mentor, you're going to be a mentee, you know, that. And I decided, when I understood what she was doing or what she did to me, I decided to go and do it to someone else. I didn't give it back to her, but I gave it to someone else. And my plan is that someone else does to someone else. It's the chain. That's what I would like to change. That when you know something, tell people. If I have a dress and people say, "Wow, you look ugly," I bought it at Mr. Price. You know, tell people where you got it. If you have something and you know how to do your hair, I tell people, go somewhere, go to so and so, you will get what you need. But we have this mentality that if I give that information, then it's like,
look better than me, better than you.
You see, what is that?
We always scared. We always in competition with each other.
But we shouldn't, though. I'm me. I'm enough. I'm enough. It's this Linda. It's all I need to be. Why do I want to have a little bit of you?
Wow.
Wow, it is your show. Touched by grace, changing lives.
Yes.
Accept yourself and know that you are enough.
Yes, you're enough. Hashtag you're enough.
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. That's
Wow,
like,
it is.
you know, because God is so great, and it's not that we try to harbor the greatness and like, you know, this is only for me and for
It's
you.
too much. He's too big.
He's too big.
For all of us.
There's space for everyone.
Yeah.
We can all be great.
Exactly.
Wow. And talking about greatness, I think some of the most important and great people are mothers. Yeah.
Definitely.
Shout out to all the mothers.
Yes.
So you are a mother of 3.
Yeah.
And you've been married for 19 years.
Wow.
That's like, you know, we just need to give a round of applause.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. How did that come by, and how has that shaped you as a person? Because, you know, there's a, you know, somebody told me that sometimes kids reveal a lot about you.
Who you are.
Yes, about who you are.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
things you didn't even know that
Yeah.
they do.
Please.
Firstly, the 19 years. I got married when I was 24 to a man I knew for 3 months, and it's been 19 years.
Wow. Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it happened because I was not big in relationships,
Mm.
and even my friends were like, we just want to see if this is going to work. Because we were supposed to get married on the 1st of April. They were like, this is April's Fool. There's no way a man who's going to marry you in 3 months. No. But it's been 19 years now,
Wow.
and I promise you it's been the best.
Wow.
Yes, we have our ups and downs.
Mm.
We have things, some days I wish I can just get rid of him.
Mm.
But I'm sure he's got days when he wishes he can get rid of me. But other than that, we're enjoying each other.
Mm.
We understand now that we're different. We understand that we are partners, and that there's things that I know I'm good at that he has to depend on me. As much as there are things that he's good at that I need him to help me with. But no one is shadowing, you know, or standing in front of the other one for success. You know, instead of when he does something good, he's doing it for me as well, and for kids. My kids, I've got a son who is 17, who's taller than me, and I've got 2 girls, 15. She's turning 15 now in May 5th. And then a 12-year-old who was the most adventurous person ever, who controls everyone in the house. Yeah. She's the one who asked like difficult questions. Yeah. So both the elder kids, they're in boarding school, which is a blessing for me because there's things that I can't teach them that they learn. Yeah. Especially time management. I think that's when most parents are struggling with, and the kids they get to know themselves. And being a parent has honestly, it has taught me that as much as I'm calm and I'm always, this is my normal, but then I shout as well. I can shout. Yeah, I can shout and I can tell people when to get off. Yeah. But I don't like that side of me. So I always tell them that I will treat you as an adult when you behave like one.
Yeah. I think as mothers, we all have that shouting side of us.
Yes. And
sometimes it helps.
Yeah, it does. It does.
We want to give a shout out to your kids if they're listening now.
Yeah. Quickly, before you give us more info on how to get hold of you and where can we find you, Lochion Holdings, I believe you have that business that you are currently running. So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay. We started the business, my husband and I, but he was more in the business because he's more of a business person than me. At the time when we started, when I was doing my undergrad degree. bring. So we started a restaurant in the township. That's why it's called Lochion.
Okay.
We started a restaurant because we wanted to bring class. We wanted to bring where you can take your partner and just come and eat like normal food. But then 2017 we had to close the business because of a lot of things that were happening, and then we closed the business. But the same month when we closed the business, God opened a huge door where we went to Sovereign Foods. They wanted to partner with us to have a canteen in their premises. So now we're working now on the third shop. Yeah, there's 2 shops inside, and then now because they're expanding their business, so now we're moving them with them to the other premises to have our third shop. So I do the operations there. We cook. I'm not a cook, so we cook. We've got ladies there who are damn good at cooking. We sell what we eat.
Okay.
Basically, it's about serving as well.
Oh, okay.
We serve.
Wow.
We serve.
So me and John, we can just go in
and anytime. We just rock out.
No, unfortunately, it's not for public because it's inside.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only for the people who are working there. But we'll see. You know, we'll never know what God's timing and how He wants things to be. You know, but because Mbulelo is really into business, so he's always had a internet cafe somewhere or a coffee shop that has a twist that's like totally different from the normal coffee shops that we know. And so there's a lot that's still coming because we're not only focusing on just food inside Sovereign. We're thinking as well, because there's no way I'm going to be employed.
I'm also seeing it, and I'm also seeing you making a success of it.
For sure. I want to ask you about the course that you're pursuing.
Yes.
Is I want why psychology? You know, you want to read our minds.
You see, that's actually what most people think about psychology. I thought, well, at school, I did accounting.
Okay.
And then I went to Cape Town to do internal auditing. And I did it for 1 year. And I realized in the year that this is not me at all. And then I had to pay my mom back all her money. The following year I had to quit school because now I knew what I wanted to do. And then I started fresh. Then I worked for a year, went back, and I actually thought I was going to do social work. Because I've always been passionate, and there was something that was drawing me from the disabled people. I love them. And but then when I dig deeper and I research about social work, then I realized there's no way I'll die actually, because that's where you see things. Because you have to go home. You have to be really in the situations. But then psychology is different, because now you're going to tell me and I draw my own picture. And it might not be what you're telling me. As long as I don't see, but I'm able to equip you with the skill that I had from God. But there's a lot that I had to learn about myself as well.
Okay.
You have to really have a good relationship with God to deal with people. There's no way you would handle a person's mind without knowing the Creator. So it was when we would do our sessions, I will have to be there an hour early. I'll prepare it with prayer, ask the Holy Spirit, and then, because I didn't want to give people advice on things that comes from the mouth. It had to be it had to be deeper than that. And after we're done, then I'll thank him, and then I'll spend a few minutes before the next customer, the next customer, because of the next patient comes in, and so that's how he drew me to psychology. And I spent my first 3 years at Lovelife just doing pure counseling. And it was just for those, they call them bingy and groundbreakers, those kids that work for Lovelife. It started there, and then with just a word of mouth, it grew to outside. And then I had to do a married counseling year course. then I can counsel married people, HIV and positive, all the chronic grief as well, because we black people are struggling to talk about these things, and I feel like there's still a lot that we haven't really tapped in terms of opening ourselves up, especially to a stranger, and we feel that there's no need for me to go see a psychologist, But I think psychology is more than just the books. You have to really know who you're dealing with, like God, like the other, part of a person, for you to be able to say, I can actually do this. So to anyone who wants to do psychology, you have to know you first. Don't go into psycho because it's very traumatic. Don't go to psychology if you just thinking about just helping people, because I get people who say, but people just come to me with their problems, and then that's why I want to do something. No, my darling, it's much more than that. Because if I can tell you, I still remember my first client, my first patient who came to me was a 14-year-old girl who was gang raped. I still remember that, and that traumatized me for a very long time. How do you deal with that? Because immediately when that told that, I heard that, then I thought, my child, and you have to separate yourself from that, and it traumatizes you like big time. So you need to be able to not just give advice, but pray for your person, for the person, and also when you see that person tomorrow, you don't see that problem they brought you. So it's bigger. It's bigger than just I'm gonna sit and just listen to people's problems. People bring their secrets. They are very huge secrets, and it should end in that room. You can't say when you don't have anything to talk about with your partner, and then you start telling or your friends. You're like, yo, so and so and so and so. You can't do that. So you have to have a heart where you can keep secrets. You have to have a listen. It's a skill to listen. You have to have an ear to hear and a heart to really be able to change. And in fact, not just change, but just ask questions. It's about asking questions. How did you, did you look at it this way? Because you have to look at situation different angles, so that you can, when your client leaves, they must say, it was worth it. It was worth it.
And sorry, I just have one more question before. Do you have 24 hours in a day, or maybe you have more? Because a psychologist, mother, wife, and so much more. The list is endless. How does your normal day look like?
I was telling to my brother, on our way here, I can count with one hand where I plan my day and it goes the way I want. I never plan and actually stick to how I want it. I'm now studying as well. I'm finishing. I struggle to have the time where I'm just sitting and just studying, or just finishing an hour studying. My phone will ring. Or, what helps now is the fact that I don't have my kids with me 24/7. But then now it is April, in boarding school, it's closed the whole month. So now they're in my face this whole month. And I need to spend time with them. And then there's business. And then there's my studies. And then there's counselings that I have to do. Yes, I work with appointments. But there's days when I have a lot of appointments. And then there's me as well. Because I love me.
Yes, you have to have a you time.
I have to have my time for me to be able to give myself to me.
You need to recharge.
I go and just take myself a coffee. And just sit. And there's a coffee shop in the youth. I just sit there and just enjoy coffee. And you also you have friends as well. You need to give your time to your friends. And then there's your family, your mom and my brother and my husband. There's so sometimes I struggle. So sometimes I feel like God must just give me more than 24 hours. There's days when you're like, I wish I could have more.
Yes, it's true.
But it's good to be busy though.
It's good.
I wouldn't want to change my life.
It's nice.
Cool. So
your last words to our listeners.
Oh my gosh, what can I say? I think it all goes from looking inside you. You know, sometimes we tend to forget where we come from. And I would not want any of us to forget where we come from. Because of that, you're able to say, okay, I managed to do ABC, and it was truly not the hand of man. Now, because of those things that I went through, now look at where I am. I can actually go and do things that I want to do. Dreams are really valid. Dreams, and dream big. Like, dream big. And you can actually, out of your dreams, you can fail. Allow yourself to fail. Because that's the only way you can learn. And go and fail and fail and fail as many times as you can. But then just pick up yourself and then continue. But if you don't tell yourself that you can do these things, you will not be able to do them. Because it starts from within. Learn to have conversations with yourself. People will stand next to, like my neighbors where I used to stay. They will stand next to they will think I have visitors at home. But I'm talking to myself. And I'm enjoying that. It's good to talk to yourself. And it's good to laugh at your own mistakes as well. So embrace that. You know, don't be shy. Don't be shy to yourself. You know, I always knew that I wanted to get married. But then girls will be like, you know, that's how we were taught that you shouldn't be, you know, that expressive of yourself, and that you want to have kids and you want to have that life, you know. But as long as you know how do I, you know, that there's channels. You can't just have 5 men or 2, you know. There's one man that is there for you. So it all starts from just having a conversation with yourself, and then able to express what you can express in your closed door outside, you know. So I'm into love, but love starts within. You know, love starts from understanding that I'm enough, and that all the tools that I need in this world, they're within me. They're not with someone else.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, lots of amazing things to get there, a lot of nuggets for our listeners and our viewers on Facebook as well. This is Linda Ntetha. She's been here with us. We just enjoying, you know, the presence, you know, and the conversation, you know. Thank you so much, Linda, for coming. I'm sure we will have to call you again.
Definitely
round 2.
Calling her.
I was actually going to say I'll be back.
Definitely.
I'll be back.
Cool. So guys, stay tuned for much more, and also stay tuned for 1 p.m. today. We've got a fantastic interview, and that is for us. Yes.
She must just tell us, where can we get hold of her?
Oh yes, please do.
On Facebook, I'm Linda Ntetha. And then on Instagram, I'm Ntetha Linda. And what else? I'm into Twitter, but I just go there and read. I'm not really
active.
No, I'm not active. I follow people and I'm into motivational stuff and news, but I'm not really. But people do inbox me. I read all the messages by myself. I do respond to messages. So people who, if there is someone there who wants some advice or wants help, because now we have issues with COVID, so I do video calls, like if someone needs counseling, or they can send me a voice note, or they can, you know, inbox me from Messenger, and we can have conversations, and I keep, you know, my secrets. I keep it my customers or my patients. Patients. I'm used to.
Yeah, businesswoman.
I am.
Are you accepting any invites since the COVID regulations are, you know, open, events are open?
Yes, I am. I love to get myself out there. But as long as people tell me on time. Because, you know, as I just said, 24 hours is not enough for me. So if people tell me on time, I make sure that if I say I'm coming, I do come.
Wow, fantastic.
Wow. Thank you for coming.
pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
And the listeners for listening.
Awesome. Cool. So right now we're going to play Slave to Nothing by Zach Williams. Stay tuned for much more later. See you later.